This is the Highly Sensitive Person Podcast, a weekly podcast for people who experience the world brighter, louder, and more intensely. Join me on a journey of acceptance of our highly sensitive person traits. Welcome to episode 34 of the Highly Sensitive Person Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly. In this show, I talk about what it's like to have high sensory processing sensitivity. Being sensitive doesn't mean we're weak. It means we are perceptive and observant. I hope that by sharing my experiences and thoughts that I can help others realize that they aren't weird or wrong or crazy, just highly sensitive. Take, for example, this review on iTunes from a user called SamSSR4. Sam says, I used to think I was the only one, but it turns out there are other people like me in this world who feel more intensely. I always blame myself for being more sensitive and emotional. But discovering this podcast made me feel better about myself and that I'm just wired to be more sensitive and it is not my fault. Thank you so much for that comment and review. That is exactly my goal with this podcast and my blog, is to help other HSPs like me to learn to accept yourself and maybe, just maybe, learn to like yourself more and give yourself a break. Stop being so hard on yourself. Anyway, on to the show. Today's topic is about being sensitive to odors. I'm surprised I haven't done a show on this topic yet. I had to review my list of episodes like 3 times just to check to make sure. We HSPs are extra sensitive to touch, taste, emotions, tactile feelings, sounds and noise, and of course, smells. I'm going to start with a gross story. A few years ago, I was standing in my kitchen and I faintly smelled something bad. I said to my husband, Jim, do you smell that? And he says, no. Now I'm on a mission. I'm mumbling to myself, I swear I smell something. Where the heck is that coming from? If you're anything like me, you know what came next. I searched every single corner of the kitchen looking for the smell. I opened the dishwasher and sniffed around. I smelled nearly every item in the fridge and the pantry, holding them up to my nose. I ran the garbage disposal, I swept the floor, I cleaned the countertop, I sniffed around the oven and the stovetop. I sniffed over every darn thing in my kitchen. Where was this smell coming from? And of course, the whole time, Jim smells nothing, so I'm sure I look like a crazy person. Eventually, I had to give up. Maybe the smell would just go away. So I lit some candles and tried to get my mind on something else. The next day, I went to heat up some leftovers in the microwave. I opened the door to the microwave, and inside I saw raw chicken that had been frozen that I had put in there to thaw 2 days ago that I had forgotten about. So gross. Now, you don't have to be an HSP to smell old raw chicken, but my point is that I could smell it when Jim couldn't. Plus, I just couldn't let it go. I had to find the source of the smell and fix it because I hate bad smells. Anytime something starts to smell in the fridge, I can smell it before anyone else, and I will go on a rampage until I find the source of the stink. Now, my sensitivity to bad smells in the kitchen, usually from the garbage bin, has led me to do what might seem a strange habit to some people. I put all perishable garbage in the freezer. So if I'm preparing carrots, the peelings go in a plastic bag in the freezer. Empty yogurt cups, eggshells, containers that used to hold raw meat, banana peels, anything that could smell bad in the garbage goes in the freezer so it won't start to stink in the trash can. Then, on trash day, we throw out the freezer trash, as we call it. This practice has eliminated pretty much all crazy stink searches in my house. I found that HSPs commonly have very specific odors that trigger them, in a bad way. These smells can even make us feel sick or nauseous. The smell that triggers me is fried eggs. Ever since I was a kid, it has made me feel sick. I don't mind the smell of eggs prepared any other way, it's just fried. Oh, and one more thing I don't like is smoke. I'm really sensitive to cigarette smoke. If I'm staying at a hotel and I walk into my new non-smoking room, I will immediately know if anyone has ever smoked there, and I will request another room. In cases where it's not possible to switch rooms, having to stay in that smoky room will bother me so much. Eventually, I will get a little more used to the odor, but every once in a while it hits me again. Man, I really dislike cigarette smoke. It's more than just the immediate odor. I hate how even standing amidst smoke for a few seconds makes your hair and all your clothes instantly reek until you wash them. I also think it's common for HSPs to be very sensitive to perfume and cologne. I've heard many sensitive people talking about how they can't stand those specific smells. So what about good smells? This is the perfect time to talk about this because here in Southern California, where I live, the orange blossoms are out in full force in my neighborhood. They are absolutely intoxicating. Whenever I walk by this one particular orange tree down the street, I am blown away by how strongly it smells. I will just stand there smiling with my eyes closed, taking it in. I'll go on and on to Jim about how amazing the orange blossoms smell, and he's like, yeah, it's nice. I didn't grow up in a place with orange trees, so it still feels new to me to have the smell of orange blossoms. I just can't get over it. It's so strong and so awesome. It has definitely become, for sure, one of my favorite smells in the whole world. And sometimes after it rains, which is rare in Southern California, there's a faint scent of eucalyptus in the air. Anytime I can pick up that scent, it just smells so calming and peaceful. Have you found that certain odors you smell evoke memories from your past? If I ever smell Tommy Girl perfume, do you remember Tommy Girl? I don't even know if they make it anymore. It reminds me of college because Tommy Girl is the perfume that I wore back then. In fact, a lot of perfumes and colognes remind me of certain times in my life or certain people, and certain food smells remind me of certain places. And that's not unusual. You might feel the same way. When I smell nice things like orange blossoms, eucalyptus, or another favorite is garlic simmering in olive oil, it's more than just a smell. It makes me feel something. It's like a moment of sensory bliss, and I just can't get enough of it. It's powerful. Folks, I want to pause for a moment and mention that this episode is sponsored by Audible.com. Did you know that you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/HSP? There are over 150,000 book titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, or Kindle, including the Highly Sensitive Person book by Dr. Elaine Aron or Quiet by Susan Cain. Check it out at audibletrial.com/HSP, and thank you for supporting the podcast. So listeners, I would love to hear about your absolute favorite smell and which specific smells you can't stand, like my fried eggs. Let me know in the comments at highlysensitiveperson.net/episode 34. And while you're on the blog, please sign up for the weekly newsletter. And I also want to let you guys know that there will be no podcast next week. I am skipping a week. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Have a great week.